Hello fellow flight simmers, welcome to Father-Son Flight Simulator. Today we are going to be checking out Carenado's Cessna 210 Centurion. This one also with the SimVRlabs VR modification, which is available on Threshold, and I'll leave the link to that in the show notes below. We're flying out of Blythe, California today to Ramona, California. So let's go ahead and get into the plane. Already removed the static elements. And let's get in there. Okay. Thanks to Joe for his fabulous VR modification. Let's center up here. Okay. Close the door. And we'll put the flight plan on the screen so you can see it. I've already dialed it into the GPS. We'll be taking off from Blythe, then heading straight to Blythe VOR, then to Shoddy intersection, then to Julian VOR, and then direct to Ramona. And to avoid the mountains along the way, we're going to go 7,500 feet on a westbound trajectory to avoid the mountains. And we're also taking this route to avoid some of the restricted airspace around the area. So let's go ahead and start up here, and let's clear that out. Turn the radios off. That's where the radios button is. It's on the breaker panel there, or the. Let's go ahead and get the power on. Mixture rich. Throttle back down to about a quarter open. Get the cow flaps all the way open. Put in our beacon. And let's see, I think we got that. Okay, so to start we want to put the pump on for just 5 seconds. And then we'll go ahead and start. Oh, I forgot something. Forgot to turn the fuel on. That would help. Let's go ahead on the left tank. Alright. There we go. And let's get our brake on. There we go. Okay, radio's on. Already checked ATIS. Our altimeter is 3018. I've got our route to Blythe dialed in, so we're going to basically take off northbound and then more or less proceed direct to Blythe once we're at a turnable altitude in the pattern left traffic off runway 35. And I also need to fix this altimeter to match. Blythe is at about 400 feet. Alright. Let's go ahead and do a quick run up here. Okay. We'll cycle the prop a couple times. 1, 2. Check the mixture. Good. That's working. Magneto check. Good. Good. And we have oil pressure, positive charge, suction's good, and oil temperature will come up in a minute. And everything else is good. So let's go take it back down to 1,000. Okay, turn our lights on. We'll need strobe and nav. We don't need night lights. We don't need pitot heat. And I think we are about good to go. We can dial in our mode C. We'll be flying VFR the whole way. We don't need necessarily autopilot, but just in case, I'm going to go ahead and turn it to our cruise altitude in case I want to employ it. Oh man. There we go. Okay, I think we are ready to taxi. This is a non-towered airport, so we technically do not need to be on ATC, and I don't have an ATC service yet, although hopefully it won't be too much longer before I'll have a real good ATC service and Pilot Edge membership. Cannot wait for that. Alright, nobody coming. Clear for takeoff. Or we're going to clear ourselves for takeoff, I should say. Alright, full power. Plane has got some terrific power in it. And we'll begin our best climb for 7,500. Alright, good to turn crosswind. Downwind. How are we doing on power? I'm going to put in a little bit of prop, get into the green. Now if you get this plane, don't be an idiot like me and accidentally buy the X-Plane 10 version like I did because you saw it was on sale over the holidays. So you want to be careful about that. You don't want to buy the wrong version of any plane on the org, because once you do, there is no getting it back. You're not going to get your money back. You're not going to be able to dispute it. Really, it's on you. So be careful. Okay, over the VOR. Alright, new track is 261. we can trim up for steady climb. Alright, coming up on our altitude. Level out. Take our trim out. As we speed up, we'll need to trim some more. Let's go ahead and dial back. And that'll speed us up. We gotta get back down to altitude here. So we have a little bit of a wind correction angle going on right now of about almost 10 degrees. Looks like maybe about 8 degrees. All right. Let's recheck the mixture, a little leaner. There we go. And now that we're at full cruise, we can begin to close the cow flap. I'm going to close it halfway at first, and I'll monitor the temperatures. And it looks like we're cruising airspeed at around 140 knots, but a ground speed of about 160 knots. So another cool thing about this plane is if your head hits the wall or something, it gives you a static sound. So kind of letting you know that you've hit something. It's kind of cool. Back seat view. Who's flying this thing anyway? I got the autopilot on. Okay, I am going to switch tanks now. So we're about half, well, we're at, not quite half, but we'll put some on the other side now. Keep those wings balanced. Should turn on the pump just to make sure there's no bubbles. Okay. Alright, to Julian we go. Track 224. Yeah, we got a little bit of wing correction angle still. But we have got some great ground speed going on here with the tailwind. Okay, so we're about 7.5 minutes to Julian. So I'm starting to think about our descent into Ramona. The elevation at Ramona is about 1,400 feet, which means we need to get down to pattern altitude. That's about 2,500 feet, which is from 7,500 feet, that's 5,000 feet we have to lose. And we want to target about 500 feet per minute, so that'll be about 10 minutes. So when we're a little over 10 minutes out from Ramona, we want to make sure we're in our descent. We could maximize our descent to 1,000 feet per minute if we have to, but I like a gentle drop in altitude to save our passengers who might have sensitive ears. So we'll be starting that pretty soon. I have the ATIS dialed in, 132.2. And as soon as ATIS comes in, we'll be able to assess, although I see here that the wind is 270 at 7 knots, which means likely our runway will be 27, which is not too far off from our heading when we head over there. So we'll be almost on a straight inbound to Ramona. Also to consider are the maps. We have a pretty high peak right around Julian, so we want to make sure that we're past that peak before we start our descent. Ramona is straight this way, so we are going to have 3,000 feet, let's see, 4,000 feet over there. So right after Julian we'll be safe to descend, and we won't have long to get down to pattern altitude. I don't want to descend right now because we do have some mountains to contend with.
2000 Zulu weather. Wind 290 at 5. Visibility more than 10. Sky clear. Temperature 22. Dew point -2. Altimeter 3012. Arriving runway 27. Departing runway 27. Advise on initial contact. You have Lima.
Okay, so we had a little bit change in wind direction, but our runway is still the same. Our altimeter changed to 3012. Let's get this one fixed too. Okay. And we can actually begin our descent now that we're past the mountains. Let's take it off of autopilot. Flight director off there. Okay, we got about 3,000 to lose, which means we need about 6 minutes, and we're going to be there in under 6 minutes. So I'm going to increase our descent to 1,000 feet per minute, and there's a chance we might need to circle around the airport until we lose that enough altitude. And we'll need to slow up a little bit too, so mixture. Alright. Gear down. Alright, green light, we're good. There it is, right there. Alright. Alright, so I'm going to turn base. Right base. Continue my descent. Put in another 10 degrees of flaps. I'm very high. It's okay now, because I have it in sight. Alright, turning to final. Final flaps. Alright, and we are down in Ramona. Flaps up. Let's taxi to the hangars. Alright, and there you have it. Let's put the parking brake on. Alright, I don't need you anymore. and did pretty well. And let's get our cowl flaps open again. Okay, we can turn this off. And we can turn our strobe nav off. Our avionics off. Let's put it back into trim for takeoff. Alright, 1000 RPM. Mixture lean. Throttle out. Fuel off. Beacon off. Key off. And power off. Alright, that is the Carenado Cessna 210. Like I said, be sure to not pick up the X-Plane 10 version if you're going to buy this on the org. And if you fly in VR, be sure to stop by Threshold in the SimVR Club and pick up the VR modification for this plane. It's a fantastic plane. I really enjoy flying it. It has plenty of power, plenty of speed, and it's nice to have a high-performance, high-wing plane in my arsenal. And that'll do it for Father Son Flight Sim today, and we'll see you next time. Have a great day.